Hi guys, I made some changes to the data binder. Actually, I made a lot of changes to the data binder, and Brianna and Elena, I know that you saw a lot of it, but I added some things and I just want to go over that today. There's just a lot of differences. I did a lot of color coding and broke things down differently, and I'm really hoping that this helps to streamline the system and make it so that it's a lot easier on you guys, but also for me in terms of moving Max forward and planning. One thing that I noticed when I was looking at the data sheets recently, the old data sheets, is that there were a lot of things on there that Max wasn't actually working on, and then there were things not on there that he was working on. And then I know that Helene made her own data sheets and she added things to his program, and those things weren't on the lesson planner or the new data sheet or the old data sheets. And it just seems like there were so many different kind of moving parts to his program and none of them synced together, which for me was extremely confusing, and like how you guys would be able to keep track of all that, like I just didn't know. So I did break things down differently, and at first it might seem like it's a lot more work, but it's actually not going to be. So follow my changes and hear me out. So first thing I did is the old data sheets were broken down into days. So I know that on Monday there were 2 things you took data on Tuesday there were 2 things you took data on, like 2 work blocks, and so forth. Now, instead of that, I have everything in the data binder broken down by work block, and hopefully everything in every work block will get data every day. And that's where that's where I thought you might think, oh my God, she's creating so much more work. But I swear it's not. It's going to be a lot simpler. So I'm going to kind of go through the whole thing. So this is calendar. Move this. So in the binder, every work block has its own. At the top, I did put a little key. If it's highlighted in yellow, that means it's for me, and I'm just highlighting it because it's something I want to draw attention to for myself. If it's blue, it's something that I need help with. So it's something that I need Brianna to either, or another RBT, anybody can do the blue highlighted, to answer for me. Or sometimes, like when I'm preparing, I'm trying to take as much as possible off your plates in terms of creating materials and lessons and getting everything organized and together. But some things it takes me an extremely long time. Like I was looking for certain pictures so that you guys could run a drill and do data, and it took me over 30 minutes. And then I was like, oh my God, and I didn't even find the pictures I needed. So I'm gonna try and do as much as I can myself, but if I can, or if I spend too much time on one area, then I'm gonna just highlight it in blue. And if you guys can't do it, or that's not something that you would do, I mean, please just tell me and then I'll figure it out. But so that's what the blue highlight is. Purple print, it corresponds to Helene's data sheets, but it's not in Hirasmus. So she added a lot of things to Max's program, and I know she wants data on them, and I think they're great components, but it's not in Hirasmus. So I think that Brianna is going to be responsible to Helene for showing that data. So hopefully Brianna, like when you see it highlighted in purple, it just makes it easier to take whatever data is on these sheets and then transpose it onto Helene's sheets. Okay, pink print means it's in Hirasmus, and if it is in pink, I tried to put the name underneath of what it's called in Hirasmus. So if it's in pink print, it'll be like the SD will be there in pink print, and then under that will be what it's called and where I found it in Hirasmus. So I went through and I even tried to put like in Hirasmus, when I look at it, there's like A, B, C, and D, and each, like A has its own title and B has a different title, and then there's a bunch of targets and stuff underneath. So I tried to color code it and write the Hirasmus name and where it's found there. And then the orange highlights are things that I absolutely can and will do myself, but I do need assistance with. So blue is like, please help me and do that for me, because I can't. And then orange is, I don't have a problem, and it's not that it's too much time, I just need guidance. So hopefully we can set aside a time, to kind of touch on whatever's orange highlighted. Okay, so that's the key. And then this is what the data sheets look like. So every target is written down, and most of the ones in calendar, it's a simple question. So that's why it's super simple to take the data on that every day, because you just ask the question. It's 1 plus, 1 minus, no biggie. So that's all that. The purple, those are on Helene's sheets. If it's black, that's just, it's like a homeschool thing or something that I had wanted him to work on. Okay, so down here, sorts 5 exemplars to the correct season for each of the following. The way that I think Brianna had explained that to me is, because this is new, what he would do for that, sorry, I don't want this to bounce around a lot. Because he's starting with fall, we would lay out fall, and then we would lay out a bunch of clothing, and he would find all the fall clothing and put that, match it to the fall picture. I think that's how she said. So I'm going to turn the page. So when he moves on to holidays and activities, it would be kind of the same. So we would put a picture of fall out, and then we would have a bunch of pictures of different activities, and we would sort the ones that go with the fall onto fall. And then I think once he masters fall, then we would move on to the next one. So we would move on to, winter, sorry. We would move on to winter. And then once he learned fall, winter, spring, summer, then we would lay all the pictures out and see if he can match them. So if I'm wrong on that, let me know. But the reason I explained that is because I made materials for this, for everything that is now on the data sheets, there is an activity or materials. So unlike the old data sheets, there's nothing that should be skipped. So Brianna, I know that you had made these pictures for me, and that was really good, but I wasn't sure what he was gonna sort that with. So I did make my own. I have seasonal sort. I'm not gonna take it out now because there will be a video for that. I think I'll make a video for that. But what I do need pictures of, I spent forever trying to find pictures of holidays, and oh my God, that was impossible. But I do have pictures for clothing. I already put all of that in the sorting mats into the calendar bin, and I have pictures for activities. I did that. It's the holidays that I needed pictures for. Okay, so every day I figured you guys at the beginning of every block, you would open up the binder, you could take out your data sheets, put it onto a clipboard. I have a bunch of clipboards. I put them over there. And then you could just go sit in the calendar area, quick do the thing, plus minus. And then in the back of that, I have these. So if you need to take data on his behavioral things, you can have that kind of sitting next to you too. So that's super simple. Okay. And then in the next section, we have reading. So everything now that's on the data sheets, it's in the reading bin. And the other thing that I did too. So calendar is pretty specific, so it's just kind of asking questions and going through the binder that Bree made. But for some of the other things, there are activities, and I really wanted you guys not to have to toggle back and forth 500 documents. So the data binder is also the planner. So if there is an activity, I'm gonna link the video right into the section of notes. So in the notes, I did put where a few things were, but everything, absolutely everything for every target and activity, it will be in the bins. So you don't have to go back and forth anymore. You don't have to go in there anymore. You won't have to go into the exercise room. If it's for reading, whether it's an Edmark binder or it's picture cards or fluency sheets, it's gonna be in the reading bin. Okay, so the purple, yep, that's Helene's stuff. The blue is just, I'm not sure what the mastery criteria is for Edmark lessons. So hopefully somebody can fill that in. And then over here, I have the activities. So I wrote, if there was a little bit of an instruction, I wrote it. And then also I wrote what materials you would need for the activity that there's a video for. So that way you don't have to memorize the videos. You'll see, oh, Hot Wheels, I know I need cars that are in the bin. Oh, so if it's too big to put in the bin, like the track, I did write in exercise room. And then you'll see as we go through a couple more, because there's a lot of materials in those bins, I was specific. So for each lesson, you can go through the bin, grab the material, and then if you've watched the video, you'll know kind of how to follow through with that. Okay, so for reading, I'm just gonna go through because there's a couple. All right, so this is new too. So this is a target that's pink, which means it's in Hierassmus. So textual behavior is what it's written as in Hierassmus, and the place to find it is under persistent deficits in social communication. It's at the bottom left. I should have put the letter. I don't know if that's B or D because there's little tiny letters, but I'll try and go back and do that. Okay, so over here, Bree put in, so there's two columns. Bree put in the words on the left-hand side. Those are the current targets. And if they're pink, it means that it's in acquisition. And if it's red, it means that it's in maintenance. But I'm not sure, so I don't know how maintenance works, but when I went through Hierassmus, I saw a lot more words in red. So even though Bree didn't plug them in there, I think that in order to do the maintenance program for Hierassmus like fully, I think those do need to be run at some point. So they might be once a month, they might be once a week, but because it's pink, if you guys go right into Hierassmus, I know that the Hierassmus program, it does all that for you. So it'll tell you exactly what words you need to run. The only reason I put these in here for myself is so that, like, if you go into Hierassmus and you're like, oh, today I need the word fire, I want to make sure that I have that material in the bin all ready for you to go. And I did do a couple of things. I'm going to actually have to pause this and make a part two, because I did reorganize all of your sight words and all of your targets in a way to make that easier too. But let me do that now. So hold on, part two is coming.